Hello YouTube, Trinity here. Today I'll be giving a deck profile on one of my first Digimon decks, which is the Rosemon control deck. It's a deck that I personally really like when it comes to the salad deck. I know Bloom Lord is a way better deck to most people, but I prefer the Rosemon build. My friend has Bloom Lord, that's all him. This is a deck I played since BTU, the first set, like 1.0. And I've been updating and playing ever since. I'm really happy with the last wave of support with the burst mode and BT14, BT15, and all that. So I'll get on with the deck profile. It hasn't really changed that much. And honestly, I feel like the deck is still pretty consistent. There's some stuff you can maybe add with the green hybrid stuff in the current set. But I think this is what works best for me. I haven't really went back to changing it. It still works fine in the current format for a roguish deck, and I really like playing it. We'll start with that being said, we'll start with the deck profile. Level 7s, I run 3 copies of Quartzmon Light, aka Rosemon Burst Mode. She is a free Digivolve on top of a Rosemon by bouncing Yoshino back to hand. And she suspends a Digimon or Tamer, and for every 2 Digimon or Tamers, trash security when she attacks. So she can be a really good way to end the game. You could run 4, but I think 3 is the perfect number. Moving on to, that's it for our level 7s. You could run Quartzmon if you want, but she's literally Quartzmon. So next, we are going to play 3 copies of BT14 Rosemon. When Digivolving, when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Tamers. And then once per turn, when a Tamer or Digimon is suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. This card can basically attack twice, and it's just extremely strong. Next, our other level 6, we'll move her to the side. I run 2 copies of Rosemon X Antibody. 1 second. There it is. It got stuck to these sleeves are getting old. Rosemon X Antibody is just a really good card in combination with Rosemon. If you don't have the burst mode, I don't use her too much, and I'm not on an X Antibody base. She's just in here for the extra stun effect and the 1-cost choke. These, the other Rosemon in the Rosemon burst mode are the finishers of the deck. But this is just like an alternate plan B you can go into. Again, I am not on the X Antibody line. I do not like her line for the X Antibody. We're on 3 copies of my favorite card in the deck. 4 copies, sorry, of my favorite card in the deck. Lilamon. She lets you free play the Yoshino, which is our bread and butter of the deck. And she gives Inherited Security Attack +1. So that'll let you take 2 checks off of your Rosemon, unsuspend, then you can go into burst mode, trash 2, check 1 out, and then if you want wide, you can basically finish the game. Next, we'll go with the 3 copies of Lilymon Ace. This is just, honestly, it's not the best ace, but it's nice, it's solid removal. You could probably run another card like Argentarimon. I'm running it because it's a fairy, and to keep with the theme of the deck, and just because I really like Lilymon Ace. It was the first ace I ever played, and I really just like Lilymon. Yeah, with that being said, she suspends something, which is really good because you can trigger your Palmons and the gain 2 memory and a bunch of other abilities, as well as you bottom deck a low blocker, an Ukomon. Basically, I run her to get rid of Ukomons because Ukomons can be annoying. And then lastly, we run 1 copy of Blossomon. This could also be an Argamon. It is a Blossomon simply because it is a vegetation. That is it for the level 5s. Next, we'll move on to the level 4s. 4 copies of the best level 4 in the deck, Togemon. This Digimon, you can play a Tamer with a reduced cost of 3, playing our Yoshino for 1 and our Mimi for 0. Inheritable, it'll give you basically it reduces the Digivolution cost by 1, and you'll see a lot of those in this deck. Next, we're playing, which I wish was the old. I do want to old art this deck out at some point. One of my favorites. 4 copies of Sunfloramon. She is basically rested, play a Digimon with 3k power or less with plant, vegetation, or fairy in this trait, and then when the other Digimon rests, draw 1 card, so she can cycle through. Sunfloramon, rest it, and you basically reduce next cost by 2. Just another way of just, if you can play that off the other one, rest it to go into Lilamon for 1, and just continuously make a board. And that is it for the level 4s. We're going through this deck profile super fast. 4 copies of my Palmon here. The SR, I really love this card. It's probably one of my favorite green generics. I'm thinking about making Leopardmon at some point with this as well. I have a couple extra. I need to pick up Leopardmon and Leopardmon X's, but Start of main phase, you choose a Digimon, and if it's suspended, you gain 2. But during all turns, they lose 2 memory. So basically, if it's your turn, you'll gain 2 memory. And if they attack with it on their turn, you can basically make it a mini ice wall. Again, same inheritable. If you're Digimon with Digivolve, if you have a green tamer, reduce the cost by 1. Moving on, we play our 4-up Palmon Searcher. This is just a way to search your deck for your fairies and your vegetations. And we play 3 copies of Palmon X because we run 8 Palmons. This is a way, you basically on play when Digivolving, you can basically just suspend something. Now, it is a 4 cost, so I wish it was a 3, but it's fine because you're usually comboing in this with your Palmon SR anyway to get the 2 memory. That is it for the Palmons. We'll move on to the last level 3 of the deck, which I dropped to increase Palmon X, which is Lalamon. It's another searcher for the deck, and it has the same inheritable. It also will add your Yoshi now, which is very important. Finally, we're running on to the Tamers. I run 4 copies of Mimi and 4 copies of Yoshino. I am slowly max raring this deck out. But Yoshino is a memory tamer that you need to go into burst mode, and Mimi is your on-play search, another on-play searcher. So this deck does struggle against decks like Mirage, because you're always trying to search with this, but you're also just a very free cost deck, so you don't really care about the taxes too much if you play your cost outright. And you can basically OTK pretty consistently, but this is prior to the new Fish line and Galaxy Mirage. I own the decks. I haven't really done a test matchup. I think I'll do that soon. But I think this is the best way to play Rosemon. Just continuously, oh my god, I stuttered there, sorry. Search your deck, add your pieces, and just go wide and basically just OTK with Rosemon and burst mode. And then finally for the eggs, I run 4 copies of Argomon, because your Digimon are suspending a lot, and if they live, you're basically making your opponent want to kill them. And then 1 copy of Tamimon, because you can get over Digimon. But I personally like Argomon a lot more. But that is it for this deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really enjoyed playing this. Again, it's one of the decks I played for the longest, next to Lilithmon and Machinedramon. It's a really fun deck, very cheap, and just not super great, but it's really fun, and I really do enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Be sure to give it this deck is extremely fun, and be sure to give it a try. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.